Please explain Buddha nature. Is it the nimitta which we have mentioned that exists in all beings? No, the Buddha nature is your ability to be the most pure, wonderful, enlightened being. You have the seed of enlightenment. And I've been watering it all week. If you think your seed has all died and has been dried out and is not growing at all, your seed has germinated already. It's growing below the surface, like a little green shoot. Who knows, it may be today you find the first little green shoot above the ground. It's working. You get your first nimitta, or your first bliss, your first real deep insight. It's growing. So that I've been nurturing that all week. So that is your Buddha nature, growing closer and closer to enlightenment. And you know it's going closer because you become more like the Buddha. You become more compassionate, more kind, more smiley. You don't get angry at people. You don't get upset. You're more compassionate, more equanimous, more peaceful. The closer you get to the Buddha, the closer your Buddha nature merges with the enlightened emptiness. Ajahn, kindly explain the meaning of the 3 gems. Every morning, afternoon, after food we pray, but I do not know the meaning of the triple gem. Okay, that's the most wonderful jewel. It's most precious jewel. That's why sometimes people say, in the 8 precepts, why can't we wear jewelry? And I say, okay, you ladies, you can wear 3 gems. Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. That's the only jewelry you can have. And those are precious gems which no burglar can carry off from out of your house. You don't need to have an insurance policy on the triple gem. So isn't it wonderful? You have the most valuable things and no one can take them away. Actually, only Mara, only ignorance and stupidity can steal your triple gem. So this is the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. They call the triple gem because they're the most valuable things in the whole world. Doesn't matter how wealthy you are. If you get depressed, sick, angry, all your money doesn't help at all. All the US's money can't solve its problems, let alone the most wealthy people in the world. But the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha can solve the problems. The wisdom and compassion of the Buddha, the great teachings of the Dhamma, and the example of the Sangha, to inspire you that, though the Buddha had died many years ago, passed away into Nibbana, you still have the memory in the teachings of Dhamma. That is really inspiring. When you understand what the Buddha truly is, it's incredible inspiration. When you actually touch the Dhamma, so it's no longer just words. When the Dhamma is not coming from the books or from the monk or the nun, but coming from deep within your heart. When you have the gem inside of you, that's so powerful. When you have the inspiration, the knowledge that so many people have walked this path and become members of the Aryan Sangha, stream winners, once returners, non-returners, arahats. Just as in the time of the Buddha, it's happening now. People just like you. So many of you think, I'm such a long way. I can never be a noble one. Stream winning, once returning arahat, maybe for other people, not for me. And the day comes when you see the Dhamma, and you realize that, you too can be one of those Aryans. Just in the time of the Buddha, it's happening now. And that gives you so much inspiration. That the path is still valid. People are still walking on that path. People are still getting all of those realizations. That's why I like people to get into jhanas. One of the descriptions of the jhanas is walking in the footprints of the Buddha. The first teaching which the Buddha gave when he went, which the Arahat Mahinda gave when he went to Sri Lanka. When they took Buddhism to Sri Lanka, the very first sermon of the Arahat Mahinda was the greater discourse on the elephant's footprint, the Mahahatipadopama Sutra. In that, he gave the simile of someone searching for the footprints of a great elephant. And he mentioned that it's like the footprints of a Buddha. Have you ever seen the footprint of the Buddha? Have you ever gone on pilgrimage to see the places where is supposed to be the footprint of the Buddha. You are going on that pilgrimage now, because the footprint of the Buddha does not lie on Adam's Peak in Sri Lanka, nor does the footprint of the Buddha lie in Paputabat in Thailand, or in the north of Thailand. There's several places which are supposed to have footprints of the Buddha. In this sutta, the Buddha himself described the 4 footprints of the Buddha. You know what those footprints are? The first footprint of the Buddha is found within you. It's called first jhana. Second footprint is second jhana. Third is third jhana. The fourth is fourth jhana. When you get into those states, you are, according to the description of the Buddha, standing in the footprint of a Buddha. You're experiencing the mind of a Buddha. You're standing where the Buddha once stood. In those jhanas, there's no difference between you and a Buddha mind. That's why it's powerful. Blows your mind. Gives you incredible bliss. More inspiration you've ever had before. So, that's where you experience the 3 gems. It's not just standing back and looking over there. It's standing inside. That's why they're powerful states. So those of you who want to go to pilgrimage to the 4 holy sites, what are the 4 holy sites again? First jhana, second jhana. You go to pilgrimage to the holy sites inside your mind. They're the best. When a yogi passes away, can she take the opportunity of her last moment to attain jhana after all the 5 senses have been shut down except the mind and nibbana? Yes, a great time to get a jhana when you just passing away, because you're letting go. You're not doing anything. You can't do anything when you're dying. People struggle. They try to do things. It makes it much worse. So just let go. Many of you have written and have told me you can experience pain and let go of it. Great. When you die, you have more pain. You can let go of that. Let go of your body, let go of your wealth, let go of your family, let go of your concerns, let go of everything. Let go of your body, let go of your senses. Great thing to do. Ajahn, I tried to follow the metta meditation this morning, but I could not feel it in my heart. Normally I will feel sad or compassion when I see the little kitten in the natural scene, but I don't have that feeling this morning. No feeling at all. What should I do? Well, you just do the breath meditation. If it doesn't work, don't force yourself. Have loving kindness to yourself. The door of my heart is open to me. If I can't do it, that's fine. Dear me, there you are. So look at your own eyes. Think this poor yogi who can't even do metta meditation of a morning. That's okay. The door of my heart is open to me. There you are, so lonely, so afraid, so sort of cold because you can't get the warmth of metta meditation. So take your own being inside your arms. And think, never mind. I can still be my friend, even if I'm the most useless meditator in the whole of this retreat. I can still be my friend. Just like the lonely, hungry cat, just all skin and bones. You've got no fat of wisdom on you at all. You are just so cold, you've got no loving kindness at all. You're just so weak because you've got no wisdom at all. You're just like this poor little kitten who had no nurturing at all. Take yourself in your arm, the most stupid meditator there's ever been since the birth of the Buddha. The most hopeless person. If that's how you think of yourself, you really need your compassion. So be compassionate towards yourself if you can't do anything. Next question. I try to follow the metta meditation. I just want to know one. Next question. Here we go. Dear Ajahn, during retreat we take vegetarian meals. Would you encourage Buddhists to convert to full-time vegetarian to reduce craving, develop compassion and loving kindness towards animals? If you can do it, great, but don't be a fundamentalist vegetarian. Don't be an evangelical meat hater. Because I did this, I was a vegetarian before I became a monk. As a monk, you had to eat everything you're given. And I said in the early years, we had to eat frog on rice because that's all there was. I would have given anything to have some tofu in those days. But when I was a lay person and I was a vegetarian, on one occasion I was invited to dinner by my girlfriend. Unfortunately, I don't know how she could do this. She forgot I was a vegetarian. She made brown rice for me, health food, but she made this curry with meat. And I refused to eat it. And I really upset her. And even now when I think about that, you stupid person, why did I do that? I should have just eaten that meat. She went through so much care and time cooking that meal for me, cooking that dinner for me. And I just turned my nose at it, up at it. I loved animals, but I hated people. Basically. So if that was the case, now if that would happen again, then I said I was a vegetarian, they made meat for me, I would eat that meat out of compassion for them. So don't be an evangelical sort of vegetarian. And there are many around. They apparently happened in I think United States. These vegetarians, they blew up the butcher shops. It's crazy. You mean killing people. You love animals, but you hate the butchers. Crazy. So it's like compassion and kindness. The reason why you're vegetarian is like for compassion for animals, and that should go to people as well. It should go to carnivores, the people who eat meat. So your compassion goes to all beings. So don't look down upon meat eaters if you're a vegetarian. Be kind to all beings. It's your personal choice if you can do it. If your health allows you. Sometimes people can't do it because of health reasons. Or because, you have a husband who's a meat eater. Or because your parents don't approve. Whatever it is, if you can do it, it's a wonderful thing to do. But don't make it an evangelical cause célèbre. To Ajahn Brahm, the breathing seems to interfere with the walking. My mind tends to focus on the breath more and sometimes make it difficult to balance. How to take off the breath? Okay. Tell yourself then, use reverse psychology. Tell your mind, okay, you must watch the breath. You must watch the breath. You must watch the breath. And then your mind will go on strike and just watch the feet then. Because it's obviously your mind does everything other than follow your instructions. You're like this little teenager. I know you may have heard these stories from the Islamic tradition of the Mullah Nasruddin. He was supposed to be this Sufi in Persia many, many centuries ago. A whole book of the stories. And they're very, very interesting, great fun to read. They have a lot of wisdom behind them as well. In one occasion, Nasruddin was growing up. He was a teenager and he would help his father transport salt. That was their business, the salt business. They would use donkeys to carry the salt from one place to another. But on the journey, they had to cross the narrow bridge, which was just one plank wide. And when you're carrying a donkey over this bridge, over this river, sometimes the donkey would be leaning over to the left. So Nasruddin's father would say, he'd see the donkey onto the left, he said, push the donkey over to the left. Because he knew his son, when he'd heard that, would always do the opposite and push the donkey over to the right. So if the donkey was leaning over to the right, the father would say, push it further over to the right. Because the teenager would always do the opposite and put it over to the left. The classical reverse psychology, hundreds of years ago. But then one day, the donkey was leaning over to the left, and the father just said, push it further over to the left, and he did it, and it fell in. He said, what do you do that for? He said, oh, don't you remember, it was my birthday today, I'm 20, I'm no longer a teenager. This is what teenagers have to do. They have to be that's part of the tradition. They're very funny stories. So, use reverse psychology. If you can't do it, tell yourself to do something else and you will do it. It's like sometimes if you can't watch the breath when you're meditating. This story was told to me by one of my meditators. He had such a hard time watching his breath. He was a Westerner. But he went to this teacher who was absolutely brilliant. And the teacher said, look, you've been trying to watch your breath all these years. Stop it. Don't even try anymore. But what you can do, sit down, close your eyes, get yourself nice and peaceful, then imagine you're watching the breath. And he did it with him. Sit down, close your eyes, and get yourself comfortable. Now imagine you're watching the breath. Don't do it, just imagine. Imagine you're breathing in, imagine you're breathing out. Imagine you're breathing in, imagine you're breathing out. And so he spent about 2 or 3 minutes imagining he was watching the breath. Then she said, what are you doing? He said, actually, I'm watching the breath. Because there is no difference between imagining it and actually doing it. So you can use imagination sometimes, and it works. If you don't have a nimitta, try it. Imagine you've got this amazing, beautiful light in front of you. The most bright and glorious light you've ever had. Just so bright and brilliant. If you've got a decent imagination, you will actually create that nimitta. And then you'll have it right there in front of you. Imagination is just working with the mind. That's all it is. So if you're breathing, if you're walking and you can't actually feel the feet, imagine you're feeling the feet. And then you'll be feeling the feet. Oh, do I focus on my feet or focus somewhere far ahead? So I focus far ahead, I tend to lose balance. Usually it's a couple of meters in front of you. You watch. Maybe it can be a meter, maybe 3 meters, whatever's comfortable for you. The purpose of that is so you can see if there's any obstacles in front of you, if there's any snakes, or if there's any cockroaches, or anything else which you want to avoid. You can see it so you're not so afraid. So try looking 1 or 2 meters in front of you. That's all you need to do with walking meditation. Next question. Dear Ajahn Brahm, is Ajahn patented metta meditation available in print? If so, can we get a copy? It is available in print. It's imprinted upon your hearts and mind. You've already had 3 copies read so far. And that's the essence of my metta meditation. Because you have the essence inside of you and you can just adapt it to your own particular style. So you don't need actually to put these things in print. You don't need to photograph them, because if you take a photograph, it's not the same as a real thing. You can take a photograph of me. You can see that picture behind me. That's not me. So why do we want to keep all these things in print? These things flow. They're like a tree, like a flower. It's always growing. So your meditation grows. You've got the seed, and that's good enough. 2. I am interested to read articles, books by Ajahn, in particular the journal. No, we have copy of the booklet Jhana, chapter 13 of the journal. What about other chapters of the journal? We would like to have a copy. Are they still available in print? If so, can Champaka Buddhist Lodge assist in this matter? These are Ajahn Brahm's secret teachings. These are only for the deep meditators. Those with enormous good karma. If you've got the good karma, those books will come to you. If you haven't, all the asking will not get those books at all. So now what's happening? Those chapters are going to be published by Wisdom Publications in the US, coming out at the end of this year, and a book titled The Beautiful Breath. The reason I'm publishing these booklets, like opening the door of the heart, instead of giving them out for free, it's one reason is that when they're published for free, you never get them into bookshops. So they just get to Buddhists and just your inner circle. They never get further than that. So I wanted to try something different, to get those teachings to a wider circulation, to go to a professional publisher so they can go all over the world. Okay, it does cost a bit of money, but it doesn't matter. It's all dana. And so that means it will actually get wider. And the other reason is that many people, maybe not in Malaysia, not yogis and Buddhists, because you know what free distribution booklets are. But there are many people, if you put free distribution booklets at the entrance there, they will take them anyway. And they'll take them home, look at them, this is boring, and throw it away. But if they paid 60 ringgit for it, they wouldn't throw it away so easily. It's really sad sometimes, but they can give a talk here, and because it's free, so that people, maybe they come, maybe they don't come. But if you advertise in Champaka Buddhist Lodge, there's an Australian motivational psychologist with degrees from Cambridge University who's coming to give a talk on how to get rid of depression, how to create happiness, how to become enlightened. $3,000 a night. This place will be packed. It's incredible how stupid people are. They think if it costs a lot of money, it must be something special. If it's free, it can't be worth anything. That's what people